Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we'll be taking an in-depth look into the refreshed 2017 Porsche 911 4S Cabriolet. As a lot of you may have heard, the Carrera and Carrera S now use an all-new 3-liter twin-turbocharged flat 6, so it's going to be pretty exciting. We'll get a quick test drive and see what it's all about. As always, this will be an in-depth review of the 911. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take that quick test drive, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. Before we begin, I'd like to extend a big thanks and special shout out to Foreign Cars Italia and Porsche Greensboro for allowing us this opportunity. For more information about their dealership and current inventory, please feel free to check out their website provided in the description box below. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, and let it run. This example is finished in GT Silver Metallic paired to a black leather interior and the standard sports seats with full power adjustment. We'll discuss pricing and available features as we go through the video, but as shown here, with options, the MSRP is $135,440, including destination and delivery. To start, insert the key into the slot on the left-hand side of the dash, then put your foot on the brake and flick it to the right to go. You can actually start the vehicle up two different ways if you'd like to open up the dual mode exhaust system out back for a louder startup. You put the vehicle into accessory power mode and go ahead and turn on sport mode. That opens up the bypass valves and you get that extra sound. The 7th generation 911 features variable ratio, electrically assisted rack and pinion steering. Speed proportional assistance is an optional feature. Typically, the ratio varies between 16.9 on center and 12.25 to 1 when at full lock. As we'll discuss later in the video, rear wheel steering is now available for the Carrera S, similar to the system used on the 911 Turbo and GT3. Our tester was not equipped with it, but Porsche claims the system will allow the S model to deliver similar cornering dynamics. Along with quickening the ratio, the rear wheel steering also reduces the turning circle from 36.7 feet to 35.1 feet. From my brief drive, I was so impressed by the level of steering feedback. For an electrically assisted setup, it's very communicative. As expected, it filters out unpleasant vibrations and the like, but it's very direct and keeps you in tune with the behavior of the front wheels. Our tester features a 3-spoke leather-wrapped multifunction steering wheel with thick grip bolsters at 10 and 2 and satin aluminum accents. Porsche also offers a GT Sport steering wheel, which at 14.2 inches in diameter is smaller than the standard wheel in this example by 0.6 inches. The 911 Carrera and Carrera S come standard as rear-wheel drive, but our Carrera 4S tester features Porsche's traction management all-wheel drive system. The latter includes an electronically controlled multi-plate clutch that transfers torque between the front and rear as needed for greater control through the corners in inclement weather. Power is sent to the wheels through either a standard 7-speed manual transmission or the stellar PDK dual-clutch transmission. Both options have been revised for the 2017 model. With the manual, there's a new twin-disc clutch and taller ratios for gears 3 through 7. This is said to reduce shifting effort, boost fuel economy, and better match it with the torque produced by the new turbocharged engine. The PDK now uses a dual-mass flywheel and updated operating logic, still delivering rapid and seamless shifts. Both transmissions operated in conjunction with an adaptive vibration absorber that grants you the ability to drive in a higher gear at lower RPMs with minimal vibrations from the drivetrain, providing a modest fuel economy benefit. The gear ratios and final drive are identical for both transmissions. You're able to shift the car manually via the console shifter or by the paddle shifters mounted to the back of the steering wheel. The Carrera S comes standard with a brake-based torque vectoring system. Working in conjunction with a locking differential out back, the system applies moderate brake pressure to the inside rear wheel, facilitating the transfer of torque to the outside wheel, helping the car rotate through a corner quicker and sharper. The torque vectoring and locking differential features are also available on the non-S all-wheel drive models. When equipped with the PDK transmission, the locking differential is controlled electronically for fully variable torque distribution. It's controlled mechanically with the manual transmission. For improved economy, the PDK was designed with virtual gearing that allows both clutches to slip into gear ratios between the fixed set to yield the lowest revs possible while cruising for greater efficiency. Another cool bit of efficiency tech is the coasting feature, which allows the transmission to decouple from the engine when traveling downhill and your foot is off the gas. In this mode, the engine simply idles, but if speed increases, the system also has the ability to shut off the engine temporarily. The 911 comes standard with the Sport mode activated by a button in the center console. It modifies the new adaptive dampers, engine response, PDK transmission, the variable exhaust system, and even the auto start-stop feature. When pressed, the transmission shifts at higher RPMs and there's rev matching downshifts. Also, the dampers firm up and throttle response becomes a tad more responsive. A new feature for 2017 is the addition of a drive mode select dial to the steering wheel, derived from the hybrid map switch used in the 918 Spider. It comes paired with the Sport Chrono package, which unfortunately is not equipped here. You would receive 4 different modes, including Sport Plus and an individual mode for further personalization of the car's systems. On top of that, the mode switch has what Porsche calls a Sport Response button, which preconditions the drivetrain for 20-second spurts of maximum acceleration response. So let's go ahead and flip on the automatic HID headlamps, LED rear fog light, and the hazards. Of course, the windows are fully automatic. Now let's go and check out the exterior. Since 1963, the 911 has represented the quintessential sports car. From the iconic styling to its excellent road behaviors and potent engine choices, the 911 is the car to which many of the segment's bests are measured against. The current 7th generation 911, known internally as the 991, was first launched back in 2012 and was a monumental improvement over its predecessor, the 997. Now, the 997 was an incredible car in its own right, but with each new generation comes a number of evolutionary changes to further hone in on making the next car better than the last. The 2017 model can be more or less thought of as a heavy mid-cycle refresh, or the 991.2 if you will. There's subtle styling updates inside and out alongside some new technology inside, but the biggest news is what you can't see hidden underneath the 991's beautiful bodywork. Along with a handful of revised suspension and chassis components, the Carrera line has moved from natural aspiration to forced induction, courtesy of a new twin-turbocharged flat 6. It's not only quite a bit more powerful than the previous 991s, but also more fuel efficient. Porsche certainly is no stranger when it comes to turbocharging technology. After all, the 911 Turbo boasts a level of performance that places it smack dab in the middle of supercar territory. The Carrera's adoption of turbos has only seemed to enhance an already stellar package. It still delivers the driving characteristics you'd expect out of a 911, just fine-tuned a bit with a dab of innovation to create the most well-rounded 911 to date. In general, the 991's curb weight is said to be 88 pounds lighter, while the body in white is 176 pounds lighter and 20% stiffer compared to the 997. Much of this is thanks to the implementation of lighter weight and advanced materials such as aluminum and ultra-high-strength steel throughout the car's structure. In fact, nearly half of the 991's body is made from aluminum, including the floors, doors, boot, bonnet lid, front fenders, and roof with hardtop models. The car is 2.2 inches longer overall, accompanied by a 3.9-inch longer wheelbase and tidier front and rear overhangs. They're shorter by 1.3 and 0.5 inches respectively. Also, roof height is lower than the 997 by 0.2 inches, while width narrows by 1.7 inches. Other more dynamic chassis changes include a 2-inch wider front track and repositioned front and rear axles. The front was pushed forward by 1.2 inches while the rear sits 2.8 inches further back, helping lead to a weight balance of 39% in front and 61% in the rear, slightly improved over the 997. Of course, with the 911's characteristic evolution over the years, the familiar teardrop silhouette ensues, combining all of the classic traits enthusiasts have come to love about this car, but tailored and modernized to maintain a fresh and competitive look. All-wheel drive 911s have a 44mm or 1.73-inch wider body for a more planted stance. Changes for 2017 include updated headlamps and tail lamps, integrated door handle recesses, and a new rear deck lid with a gloss black louver set. Those familiar with the brand already know how bespoke Porsches can get, depending on the range of options and specifications you're able to choose from. The 911 Carrera is essentially offered in two forms, the $89,400 Carrera and the $103,400 Carrera S. On top of that, you have the Cabriolet models, all-wheel drive variants, the range of Targa and Turbo models, not to mention the track-focused variants such as the GT3, GT3 RS, and 911R. The Cabriolet's folding soft top works quickly and quietly, stowing away in about 13 seconds. Magnesium bracing for the top keeps things rigid and lightweight. A couple of pop-up roll bars provide added protection in the event of a rollover, while a powered wind deflector keeps the interior comfortable and disturbance-free out on the road and highways. Based on model offerings alone, this is one sports car that can certainly feel tailored to anyone's individual needs. No matter your passions or preferences, there's a 911 out there for you. The 911 Carrera and Carrera S are now powered by an all-new twin-turbocharged 3-liter flat 6, replacing last year's naturally aspirated 3.4-liter and 3.8-liter engines. The downsized Boxer delivers a significant boost in horsepower and torque in both applications, all while being more fuel efficient and reducing emissions. Specifically, the Carrera S is putting out an additional 20 horsepower and 43 pound-feet of torque than before. Since both cars now essentially share the same engine, not much is different between them, aside from the amount of boost that the turbos are putting out. The S model includes modified compressor wheels for the turbos, a specific variable exhaust system, and a different ECU tune. Unlike your typical V6 or inline-6, Boxer cylinders are horizontally opposed. The all-aluminum mill features dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, as well as variable intake and exhaust valve timing and variable intake lift. The engine uses dry sump lubrication and direct fuel injection. The main air intake sits beneath the new louvered grille that sits just ahead of the rear spoiler. To either side of the engine are air-to-air intercoolers to keep the charge air temperatures low. Heat is expunged from the vents located in the bottom outer edges of the rear fascia just behind the tires. The compression ratio is rated at 10:1, accompanied by a maximum engine speed of 7,500 RPM. With 13.1 psi of boost, the Carrera develops 370 horsepower at 6,500 RPM and 331 pound-feet of torque between 1,750 and 5,000 RPM. However, the Carrera S with 16 psi of boost churns out 420 horsepower and 368 pound-feet of torque, good for a 0 to 60 time of 4 seconds when equipped with the PDK transmission and a top speed of 188 miles per hour. I also didn't notice any worthwhile turbo lag, it was all pretty responsive. Mid-range torque is excellent, available far earlier in the RPM range, a notable improvement with the turbo engine. With the Sport Chrono package and launch control, the S model is able to hit 60 in as little as 3.8 seconds. The latter also adds dynamic engine mounts. The variable exhaust system on the Carrera S sounds pretty good with a bit of turbo whistle mixed in. It's quiet and normal driving and more aggressive in the higher RPMs when the exhaust begins to open up. A sport exhaust system is also available for all Carreras if you're looking for even more sound. I haven't heard it yet, but I'm sure it would be a must-have option for me. None of the sound that you hear is electronically enhanced. Any added induction sounds are transferred to the interior via specially tuned ductwork. Base Carreras have rectangular exhaust tips to either side, while the S model has quad tips. The Sport exhaust has shorter pipes with the tips brought in closer towards the middle. A 17.9-gallon fuel tank is included, and the new engine requires the use of premium unleaded fuel. EPA estimates for the Carrera S range between 21 miles to a gallon in the city and 28 on the highway, averaging around 24 miles to a gallon when equipped with the PDK. On the Carrera S, 20-inch asymmetric wheels come standard. They're 8.5 inches wide in front and 11.5 inches wide in the rear. The latter is a half-inch increase over last year's model. Despite being the same width as the Carrera's 19-inch wheels, the S benefits from wider tires for greater traction. The 20-inch wheels are also offered in 4 styles, including Arc Tester's machined and painted 10-spoke Carrera Classic alloy wheels. They're wrapped in high-performance Pirelli P0 tires, 245/35s in front and 305/30s in the rear that I'd imagine could hold around 1G of lateral acceleration. The 4-wheel cross-drilled and internally ventilated disc brakes are more substantial and come with larger pads for 2017. A new aluminum rotor hub reduces unsprung weight. On the Carrera, they measure 13 by 1.3 inches in front and 13 by 1.1 inches in the rear. Each are clamped down by 4-piston aluminum monoblock calipers. When stepping up to the Carrera S, you receive larger 13.8-inch front rotors coupled to 6-piston calipers. I'd estimate it could stop from 60 miles an hour in 105 feet or less. Optional carbon ceramic brakes, now borrowed from the 911 Turbo, are best suited for those who plan on tracking their cars. The standard brakes already work wonderfully for a daily driver. The ceramics offer superior fade resistance, stopping power, and durability, but come at an $8,500 premium. Brake cooling ducts underneath the front fascia help dissipate heat under hard use. Alongside multi-channel ABS, a post-collision braking system is also standard. Underpinning the 911 is a fully independent suspension with McPherson struts in front and an aluminum-intensive multi-link setup in the rear. A revised version of Porsche's Active Suspension Management System, or PASM, is now standard on the Carrera, featuring 2-mode electronically controlled dampers for greater comfort and adaptability for different driving styles and road surfaces. It also lowers ride height by 10mm or about 0.4 inches over the previous Carrera. Modified springs, anti-roll bars, and a variety of other updated components work to improve lateral stability, compression, and rebound rates. Ride quality was much better than expected. While still firm, it's remarkably comfortable and compliant for a sports car. Carrera S models now have the option of Porsche's Dynamic Chassis Control System, or PDCC. While not equipped on this example, it's an active roll system that replaces the stabilizer bar drop links with hydraulic actuators. This leads to more neutral handling and increased cornering limits by more effectively mitigating body roll. Once an exclusive feature of the 911 Turbo and GT3, rear wheel steering is now available for the Carrera S. When equipped, a pair of electromechanical actuators replace the conventional tow control arms, allowing the steering angle of the rear wheels to vary around 2 degrees depending on your speed of travel. At higher speeds, the wheels turn in the same direction as the front, increasing the car's agility and steering precision when cornering. At low speeds, the rear wheels turn in the opposite direction to tighten the turning circle and make low-speed maneuvers even easier. For an added practicality edge, all 911s are available with a supercar-like front axle lift system. When activated, it raises the front by 40mm or about 1.6 inches at speeds up to 37 miles an hour to better manage steep driveways, speed bumps, and other similar obstacles. Overall length is 177.1 inches with a width including the mirrors of 77.9 inches and a height of 51.1 inches. It rides on a 96.5-inch wheelbase and has a curb weight of 3,483 pounds when equipped at the PDK. One thing you can always count on with Porsche is a high-quality interior. For its class, the 911's craftsmanship, quality of materials, and front seat accommodations is exemplary. The 991, being a larger car than the 997, also boasts greater interior space. Everything from the classic instrument cluster to the general layout and left-sided ignition switch feels very driver-focused. As one of the quintessential sports cars, the 911 delivers excitement on a variety of levels. The ergonomics are fantastic as everything is easy to reach and easy to understand, especially with an all-new infotainment system. We'll discuss the latter though in just a bit. The only other significant change for 2017 was the adoption of the new steering wheel designs. The interior is where all of the personalization options really come alive. Porsche offers a dizzying array of available options to give clients the ability to make their 911 truly unlike any other. Options range from simple stuff like interior colors and finishers such as aluminum, woods, and carbon fiber to a couple optional audio systems. There's also the option of additional Alcantara and leather surfaces. Here's where it gets interesting. For example, pretty much every conceivable surface can be head wrapped in leather if you so choose. You can even opt to wrap the air vents and the vent slats in leather. That's incredible! Across the door panels, there's a couple of storage pockets to supplement the glove box and center console. The damped glove box door is lockable for added security. Inside, it's lined in felt and features a decent amount of space, in addition to a USB and auxiliary port. Right above that, hidden behind a slender faceplate, are two pop-out cup holders. The flowing center stack, first used in the Panamera, was originally inspired by the Carrera GT and has since made its way across Porsche's lineup as a key interior styling theme. In terms of comfort, the 911 Carrera is offered with two basic seat designs, including the Sport seats and the more aggressive Sport Plus seats. Both come standard with partial power adjustment, while our tester features the optional 14-way powered Sport seats, including 4-way lumbar, a thigh extension, and memory settings. The seats are firm and supportive, offering good lateral grip and plenty of padding where it matters the most. If equipped, the Sport Chrono package adds an elegant stopwatch in the middle of the dash. The interior is well protected by 8 airbags, including 2 front, 2 knee, 2 thorax, and 2 door-mounted side airbags. Adaptive cruise control with forward collision warning and brake assist is optional.
Now let's go and see if she sounds, both sitting still and on the road.
To gain access to the rear seat, you want to grab the little handle on the outer edges of the backrest and go ahead and slide the front seats forward. The sculpted seats sit you down nice and low, and there's a little bit of storage space, but being that it's a pretty intimate environment, you want to reserve it for small children and most likely cargo space. To fully take advantage of that cargo space, you can grab two little tabs on the outer edges of the rear seat's backrest to go ahead and fold them flat. Then you have a nice level loading space.
Now let's go ahead and set her up and check out the interior features.
The 911 Carrera is offered with 3 audio systems. An 8-speaker 150-watt system comes standard. Our tester's 12-speaker 555-watt Bose surround sound system is the mid-range option, while Burmester high-end surround sound is also available. The latter consists of 12 speakers but develops a total of 821 watts. The most significant upgrade though is the all-new Porsche Communication Management Infotainment System, a standard feature in every 911. Of course, it combines all of the media options you'd expect this day and age, but even some new tech such as Apple CarPlay, which allows you to fully integrate your iPhone with the car, including Bluetooth telephone, audio, messaging, navigation, and more. The 7-inch touchscreen has a satin glass face and is capable of multi-touch gestures just like a smartphone.
Whom shall I call for you?
There's redundant buttons and a rotary dial beneath it if you prefer not to use the touch interface. Compared to its predecessor, it's a far more intuitive setup that's easy to figure out. The graphics are crisp and it's quick to respond to your inputs. The system also introduces a Wi-Fi hotspot along with online capabilities. Of course, the navigation system features real-time traffic updates along with Google Earth and Street View services. With being able to sync your car with Porsche's Connect app on your smartphone, you're also able to stream internet radio via Pandora. Of course, we're just scratching the surface with all the new features and functionality. You could certainly dedicate a whole video to this. In a nutshell, it's a wonderful system that really enhances the look of the interior while giving clients a properly modern interface.
The windshield surround is finished in soft touch material. You have padded visors up top with a card holder to the right and LED illuminated vanity mirrors. Up top, there's an auto-dimming view mirror with your LED reading lamps, 3-position garage home link, and a button where you can turn on and off your exterior parking sensors. Continuing down the center stack, right beneath the infotainment system, this one features a dual-zone electronic automatic climate control system as well as 3-stage heated and ventilated front seats. Your front and rear defrost recycling is over there, different zones, temperature to either side, one-touch automatic, and fan speed in the middle. Continuing along the slender center console, you have a button for your central locking, hazards, raising and lowering the rear spoiler, your auto start stop feature, sport mode, adaptive dampers, and traction control. Your wind buffeter is right here, and of course your top controls. In the very back is a small storage tray, ashtray, and/or ladder and power outlet. In the very back, you have a leather-wrapped armrest with a modest amount of storage and a USB port. As far as the steering wheel, you have your hands-free telephone, audio controls, as well as the controls for the driver information system. It shows up in that digital display to the right-hand side of the instrument cluster. You have vehicle status with different temperatures and a boost pressure gauge, audio, telephone, navigation, trip computer, tire pressure monitoring system, and torque split for the all-wheel drive system. Behind the steering wheel to the right, you have your wipers. To the left-hand side, lighting, turn signals, and your hands-free voice commands. Help.
Please choose a topic you would like help on. Possible topics are voice-controlled areas or general voice control.
Cancel.
Voice control canceled.
In the very bottom, you have cruise control.
All things considered, the 911 has a pretty decent amount of cargo space. In the main trunk up front, you have 5.1 cubic feet. In addition to that, behind the front seats, you have 9.2 cubic feet like I showed you earlier. You can't stow huge items necessarily, but I think it's still practical enough for a traveling car, at least for 2 people. Up in the front compartment, it's all lined in carpet, there's some illumination, and an emergency release handle. You also have easy access to your windshield washer fluid and brake fluid reservoirs. Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2017 Porsche 911 4S Cabriolet. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.